Hello everyone, welcome to Excel Insider. Are you tired of scrolling through Excel just to find one value? Today, I'll show you 4 quick ways to look up data so you get results instantly. So let's jump right in. Imagine you have employee records, departments, attendance days, and city, a data set like this. The HR manager wants to know how many days a certain employee worked. Let's say in this case, Mr. John Smith. So we are going to find that out using the first method, or the VLOOKUP function. VLOOKUP is a function in Excel that allows you to search for a value in the first column of a table or a data set and return a corresponding value from another column in the same row. Let's have a look at the formula. Select a random or helper cell. In this case, I'm going with F2. Enter the following formula. Now let's break this down together. We have to enter the function VLOOKUP first, then some arguments to make the formula work, like lookup value, table array, column index number, and range lookup. Basically, John Smith is the lookup value that we need to find. The table array will be A2 through E12, which is referring to the entire data set. 3 is going to be the output column. This means we want the value from the third column in that table range. Column A is 1, column B is 2, column C is the third column. That's why the number 3. By false, this tells Excel to find an exact match only. If this doesn't find John Smith exactly, it will return an error. Now, if you press enter, you can see it returns the value number 20. First, we find Mr. John Smith in the first column. Then it returned the corresponding value from the same row of the third column, which is 20, which explains Mr. John Smith has worked 20 days. Let's move on to the next formula. So we just saw how VLOOKUP works, but it also has few limitations, which is why Excel came up with a modern and flexible function known as XLOOKUP. Point to be noted, it only works in Excel 2021 or later version, including Microsoft 365. So XLOOKUP is a newer, smarter version of VLOOKUP. It does the same job, but it doesn't have any limitations like the previous one. Also, it's easier to read and less likely to break if your table changes. Take a random cell again, enter the following formula. XLOOKUP is the function, and the arguments here are lookup value, lookup array, and return array. The lookup value is going to be the same, John Smith. The lookup array is basically referring to the first column, A2 through A12, and the return array will be where we will find our outcome or the result, which is C2 through C12 is basically referring to the third column. Press enter and you will have the result as same before, and that's how the formula works. The third method is a powerful combination of two different functions, index and match. It does the same job what VLOOKUP does, but it also gives you the freedom of XLOOKUP as well. Match finds the position of a value in a column or row, and index uses that position to return the actual results from another column. Let's take a look at the formula. Now write down equal to index, press tab, it will automatically put the function with a bracket open. Now we will enter the entire dataset reference, which is A2 through E12, a comma. Now we will enter the next function, which is match. Again, press tab. As we can see, there are some arguments that we need to put to make the match function works, like the lookup value, which is John Smith in this case, comma again. Now we will enter the cell reference or the column reference where we can find John Smith, which is A2 through A12, basically the first column. Now, comma again, we will enter a 0. It tells Excel to find the exact match, bracket close, comma again. Now we will enter 3 because the output that we are looking for is in the third column. Now, if you press enter, you can see the result is same. That means the formula worked because we're using the same example. The last method is the oldest among these lookup tools, which is the lookup function. It does the same job as VLOOKUP but has one limitation. It always assumes the data that you're working with is sorted. So if it is not, you might not get the expected result. Take a random cell, F2 in this case, enter the following formula. With the lookup function, we will put the arguments, the lookup value John Smith, the column reference A2 through A12, where we can find John Smith, and C2 through C12, where the result will appear. Press enter and you will have your result. And that's all for today. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below and visit Excel Insider for more Excel knowledge. Thank you so much for watching.